What is up, YouTube people? Northeast Ohio Sports Cards here for another impromptu live stream. 2 in a week. I know. Had the wife working a little late, so I have about 30 minutes, give or take. So I figured I'd hop on and see what is what. Just got done uploading tomorrow morning's video. Well, in the process of uploading tomorrow morning's video. So, as we do with these Q&As, we will let chat kind of drive the ship. And we will see where the questioning takes us. Sports cards, non-sports cards, comic books, whatevs. Let's rock and roll. First question, HGA or SGC? Assuming I could actually submit cards to HGA and not wait in a queue for weeks on end, I would give HGA a whirl. But as of right now, we don't live in that world. So I touch on this in tomorrow morning's video. They have recently just changed up. They are lowering their numbers of cards per order. You are now only allowed to do 5 cards per order to allow more people to get cards in. I also talk about this in tomorrow morning's video. I would really like to send them Marvel cards, but they don't take them at the moment. Just sports cards, which I get. They have their own problems. They can barely keep up with just sports card submissions, so I understand why they're not going absolutely crazy with non-sports cards. So I did not pick up anything at the show today. Talk about that also in tomorrow morning's video. Show was packed. Absolutely slammed. It was in way too small of a space. And there was no room to get around. I've also decided I am too old for sports shows because I get annoyed. That being said, I'm probably heading to a comic book show tomorrow in Cleveland. See what that's all about. I did not pick up anything at the show, but I did finally pick up the next big comic book that I was looking for in a CGC 9.8. I ordered that today. Finally was able to close a deal on one. I've been looking one for a week plus and finally found one in a price that I liked because I think it's the next one to possibly pop off. It's already quite a bit expensive, but I think it's got a lot of room due to a lot of different factors. 2012 Select versus 2012 Prism. I'm going to go Prism on that one. 10 years is a long time. We could all not even care about sports cards. Who knows? Optic Luca Color versus Luca Select. I don't think you can go wrong with either or, to be quite honest with you. Eugene, that is an excellent question. Why is everyone high on HGA? They can't handle the business. I ask myself that daily when everyone says they're taking their business from PSA to HGA. I don't know if people just don't realize that they're not at scale yet or what. I like some of the stuff that they're doing. I just need them to show it to me first. I need to see them at scale. I just worry that they're all marketing and flash with the fancy label and everyone's just jumping on that. I see the appeal. Guaranteed turnaround times. Okay pricing. Cool looking slab in some cases. But I have a few red flags with them. So I want them to do well. We need more competition in the grading game. Topps Chrome was just kind of one of those. Topps Chrome versus Topps Finest. Sorry, I will try to say the questions out loud as best as I can. Finest versus Chrome. Chrome was just kind of one of those weird things. Like the hobby decided that Chrome's the product and, the Topps Chrome's the product, not Finest. And it's kind of the way that it went. CGC would be a cool fit for Marvel, but as of right now, they're not doing it. I feel like they're sleeping on that one. And regardless, I still think it's PSA is king because people want 10s, not 9.5s. Third and long, where do I send my Marvel? SGC question mark. If you want to actually get them back quickly and flip them, probably SGC. If you don't care, it's just for PC, send them to whoever you think looks best in the slab. If you want to maximize profits and you have faith in the market, PSA. Do I think Luka Hoops PSA 9s is 10 is worth it or too low end to matter? If you want Luka and that's all you can afford, that is perfectly fine. I would probably look at, I don't know off the top of my head, I would potentially look at like maybe Luka Optic 9 versus Hoops PSA 10. I don't know what the price difference there is. Or maybe like a Concourse PSA 9 or even like a Revolution. Revolution's a little more off the wall and probably a little bit more pricey, but something like that. No, nothing in particular at Golden Auctions that I have my eyes on. I personally like Luka as a long term. I feel like you might have been able to get one a little bit cheaper than 1460, but that's not like a terrible price. His prices have kind of rebounded. If you really wanted Luka, you probably should have bought about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Thoughts on AD, Mitchell, and select modern rookies for players heading into the playoffs. I talk about Mitchell in tomorrow morning's video. His Prism actually dipped a little bit. I didn't look at his select pricing. I like him. I'm worried about AD's Achilles thing. I feel like they're gonna baby him. I would like an Ultimate Fallout 4, but those are already pretty pricey. I still may circle around to one. There's other things I have on my eye before that. The comic book that I purchased is an Amazing Spider-Man 252 Direct Edition CGC 9.8. It is the first appearance of the symbiote. I bought it to pair with my Secret Wars number 8 CGC 9.8. There's just over 1,000 of them on the CGC census, which is nothing. I got it for $1,500 in an off eBay deal, which I feel like is a pretty good price. I could see that one really running up. It's gone up a little bit, but I don't think it's getting the respect it deserves compared to what ASM 300 is going for and 316 is now going for. So Alex Forte, I do not rip packs. I buy singles. So no, I will not be buying retail Prism, and I will not be buying it aftermarket. I think Select going retail is interesting. I don't mind it. I think it helps Select as a brand overall. Mike, yes, you should definitely lay on the floor and cry. I agree, Clayton Murphy. Waiting weeks for HGA when they could already be sitting in another grading company is a problem. I would love a Hulk 81 or a Giant Size X-Men one. They're on my list, but they're going to be a hot minute. I do think Mahomes is probably relatively bottomed out in a macro sense. I mean, you might be able to wait like a week here or a week there. You might have missed the window by a week. But in general, by the time August rolls around or September rolls around, if you look back to January, February, and March prices, that's probably the bottom for the year unless he gets hurt. 330 1990 Marvel to PSA on bulk. How the hell did you find 330 1990 Marvel that are in good enough shape to send the PSA 10? I disagree that GSX 1's too expensive. Xenia is way too far of a drive for me. I am not heading down there. There's one in Cleveland next week, and I'm going to hit that one. I do agree, Mike. If you're looking for cheaper Lucas stuff, Status is not bad. I would go with Revolution before Status, but it's not terrible. Jim asks about Flawless and Vet Player auto patches and stuff. I don't know that they're going to have a ton of value. They'll always hold some value, but I just think that there's better things to put your money in. It's more of like a PC thing. I mean, PSA is not going to be hurting for business. They're going to be grading less cards in theory for twice the price. I think they're doing just fine. C5 TV, if you were looking at a 252, especially in a CGC 9.8, I would not wait. I saw no less than like 4 different Facebook posts today and the largest comic buying and selling groups of people looking for it. It took me a week and a half to find one at a semi-reasonable price, and I feel like I got the last one. I got that book for $1,500. I could easily see that being $2,500 in no time. New Mutants 98 CGC 9.8 went from $1,200 to $2,500 in like a week and a half. Cole Anthony's on my screen for no particular reason. I just have up price movement by cards. I just had market movers open in case I needed to pull it up and look at something. I do not care about soccer, Jack. Sorry. Just not my thing. And I only collect what I know. Clayton Murphy, I love buying PSA 9s and BGS 95s as long as the math works out. That's one of the things that market movers is really good for. A super chat. What the hell? Got that shit on. I don't even know how it works. Awesome. I will check that out after the stream for 4 Cards Wax. Everyone go check out his channel. See what he's got going on. Yeah, Alex, the retail thing, it just became way too much work. All the targets around me started limiting. The stalkers get like people caught on to what everyone was doing. And it just wasn't worth the time anymore. Like, I'm not going to go wait in line for 2 hours for 2 blaster boxes. You know, I'm glad that I got it when I did. And that was I used a lot of that as like my seed money per se to allow me to build into bigger cards and like jump a level if that makes sense. Like, I was at a certain level, like above entry level, but not like, to the next level. And by lucking into a couple retail scores back with Mosaic and Optic of last year and ripping and flipping and selling sealed, allowed me to move up to like, okay, now I'm like at this level of the hobby, if that makes sense. Which format of this year's cards do you like best? Short answer, none. I would love a whole set of Marvel Universe 98 PSA graded. Magic Aloha, I am still executing my plan of buying football. I would prefer just to hold to August and September. Someone might spike during the draft, but unless they get hurt, I just don't see their prices coming down between the draft and the start of the season. So I'll just bank it, sit on it, and let it keep climbing up. Why is Marvel Series 1 so sought after when Masterpieces was the much better and premium set? Because Series 1 was first, number one. Number two, that's what most people collected as a kid because they were everywhere. You could buy the packs everywhere, so everyone has nostalgia for that set. And a lot of people do not like the artwork on Masterpieces. Masterpieces is very much love it or hate it. A lot of people prefer the actual comic book art compared to the more artistic style of Masterpieces. 90 Marvel Universe is a rough grade, man. You got to really look at those things close. Thank you very much, Mike Rodriguez. I don't know that I'm the smartest. Is it too late to invest in Tatis? I think you missed the window, to be quite honest. I'm not like pulse on finger on the pulse of the baseball market 24/7 like I am basketball. And I talk about this in tomorrow's weekly sports card update. My fear with Tatis, Soto, and Acuna is once the season starts, they're going to have to play out of their minds to keep their current prices up. I worry what we saw in football and basketball is once the season started, a lot of these prices tanked because these guys did not play up to the lofty expectations that the market set for them. So I do think there's at least a decent chance that a lot of the baseball market is going to see its peak in early March or late March, rather. That is a good deal on a 9.8 newsstand. You can make a ton of money on that thing right now. Any base basketball cards that I would hold? Yes. Ja, Tatum, Luka, Giannis. Trae Young used to be on that list, but he may have slipped off. I'm intrigued, but I would wait till later in the season in MPJ and SGA. Have I had success crossing BGS or SGA to PSA? Some, but you have to crack them. If you send them slab, they're not going to cross it. You got to risk it and crack it. It's a big risk. Our second year LeBron card's a good long-term buy. I think if you get into the Topps Chrome, yes. Of the non-LeBron rookie cards, I think it's his early Chrome stuff, 2008 Topps Chalk Toss, and the 2008 Kobe card with him and Kobe on it, I think are the best. That's my second super chat, Crypta. Consider taking flyers on playoff bound players like Bruce Brown or just stick with the stars at this point. I would stick with the stars at this point. If you want to do low end stuff like that, like Bruce Brown, I would do stuff like that on Star Stock, to be quite honest with you. Am I done grading Marvel cards? No, but I have to reconsider how I'm grading Marvel cards because of the PSA price changes. Um, so the only Marvel cards I've gotten back graded so far are the Super Express order. I have a Express order at PSA. I have two regular orders at PSA that are all Marvel, Series 1 and Series 2. So the value is all going to be tied to PSA 10s in Marvel. I'm going to do a Marvel market video type thing on Monday. I think that's going to be Monday morning's video, assuming I could get the research in tomorrow for it. So I'm going to touch on this probably in that Marvel market video. So I bought that 90 Universe box for $1,300 shipped. I paid $600 to grade the Super Express stuff. I got two Black Suit 10s, which you guys have seen on the channel, and the Stan Lee 9. Between those three, just those three cards, including the grading fees and the price of the box, I am up about $600 profit. So I've made $600 and I've only sold three of the cards from that box graded. I still have another probably dozen to 12 to 16 cards at PSA out of 90 Marvel Universe. So depending on how those come back, I just need to cover grading costs and it's all profit from here on out. And I have a box of raw stuff I could sell. And I put together a complete set. So I think I'm doing okay. Sorry, I've lost track of where I was in chat. Let me find it back again. They'll keep making Kobe cards, Mike, I think. I like Halliburton. I feel like just a real quick semi hot take. I'm probably not chasing many rookies out of upcoming product until prices kind of flatten themselves out. Halliburton is one that I'm intrigued by. Like, he's on my list. Holding any football into season, Alex, is risky. If you have market movers, go look at the charts. Or actually, I did a video on this. Go watch the video I posted, Alex, right at the end of the football season. I think I posted it like the day before the NFL playoffs started. Watch that, and then that'll make you reconsider how you think about holding into the playoffs or into the season. I don't know that downtowns are in market movers, card collector. Primo, I am not the guy you want to be asking soccer questions to. Sorry, just not my thing. I don't want to give you bad advice. I don't like to talk about stuff unless I know it. Yeah, Dallas is not going to happen next week. That's for sure. I am looking at going to the National, though. I'm beginning to make plans for the National. J-Dub, Kyler, depending on what you got into it for, if you're worried about getting out of it, at least hold it until August. Oh, sorry. I was a little behind on the questions there. I see what you're talking about now, Tyler. 50 to 60. Optics were 35 to 40. I would hold until August. There's really no reason to sell football right now unless you need the money. I like Zion. He's freaking amazing. I do not like Zion as a long-term hold. I worry about injuries with him. I am not in on the Dr. Seuss speculation. It's not like a billion of those books weren't already printed. Baseball's already been moving on Star Stock quite well, Mark. I've done pretty well on Star Stock with baseball to this point. I mean, Soto already has a world championship, Barton. Otani stuff really went up big time this last week. Otani is heavily featured in tomorrow morning's video. I really like DeJounte Murray. I think he's pretty good, but they're probably not going to be in the playoffs. So I don't know that I see a rush to buy him. I would wait for the end of the season and maybe buy a dip. They weren't Venoms. They were Black Suit Spider-Man. Yes, I sold both of them already. I got $1,500 for one, and I got $1,000 for the other one. I think if you're going to go after Star Wars, that's the set that you want, the 77 Blue Series. Because that's basically their rookie cards, that and the Wonder Bread stuff. And then like Empire Strikes Back, the set the year, whatever set year that was, I forget off the top of my head. You want Boba Fett out of that one, Lando, and someone else, but I'm blanking on it. I have zero interest in Pokemon. I get it, just not for me. I was an MTG guy, so I always look down on the Pokemon players. Depending on when you get the Kobe Whites back, move what you need to cover the cost of the grading, and then I would hold until right before the season starts next year. He'll get pumped back up again. I'm just not a soccer guy. Like I get the plays, I just don't know it. I am not familiar with graded wax pack market. That is beyond my scope of practice. So I mean, regarding the Marvel cards, I think the value's gonna be tied up strictly in the PSA 10s. They're gonna pull back some probably, but I don't think they're ever going back to where they were. You'll be able to make good money on 10s, especially at $25 a card. That's just my opinion. I have not gotten it back yet, RJ Jones. I have not gotten my Card Collector 2 PSA submission back. I'm hoping it's this month. They said about 3.5 to 4.5 months when I submitted it, and I am like right at the 4-month mark. So I was gonna try. I was actually at Card Collector 2 store today. I stopped by. I was gonna ask them about it, but they were slammed. It was so busy in there. Low roller. I think all that stuff's a play as long as you could get it in PSA 10s. Alex, it's going to depend on the Baker play is going to depend on how much Baker goes up before the season starts. If Baker has a huge spike in the preseason, then I don't think he's worth holding in the season. If he stays flat, then yeah, I would hold him. Most valuable card in my PC is a Giannis BGS 9.5 rookie. It's at about 2K last time I checked, a little over 2K. The funny part is actually New Mutants 98 CGC 9.8 is probably the most valuable thing in my collection now because that's last one sold in a direct edition for almost $2,500. Who do I think the most under the radar buy is in basketball right now? Probably Giannis. That's not under the radar, I know, but his stuff is way too cheap. Everything I saw out of LaMelo, I was not convinced. He's played extremely well. That being said, I will not be chasing his Prism rookies to start. They're going to be way too inflated price-wise. I did not have Card Collector 2 review. I just did it myself. NBA premium stock is weird because there's so many parallels. I think it definitely falls behind Mosaic, but it's above all the paper products. I would put it in front of Illusions, Regular Hoops, Donruss, etc. I'm sorry. When I say hold all football, I'm talking about previous years, not current rookies. Sorry, I should have clarified that. Yeah, if you want to bail on, if you're pulling optic football like 2020, 2021 product, like Herberts and stuff, and you don't want to grade them, yes, you should absolutely be selling right now. I'm talking about like Dak Prescott, Kyler, Baker, etc., etc. Wander is a tricky one. I mean, here's the thing. Baseball prospects, once he gets to the majors, plenty of those guys is washed out. He could also be the next Juan Soto, so who knows? I mean, Embiid looks great, but he still has to prove it throughout a full season. If I'm saving for a LeBron rookie, I want Topps Chrome. Daquan Murphy, it depends on the player and the card, but I'm almost always going to take the rookie over the second year card. 714. I think that LeBron set's okay. There's just other things I would rather have. What do I think is the best return on investment? Basketball, comics, Pokemon, or MTG? I don't know the Pokemon and MTG market that well. I don't know the Pokemon market at all. I know MTG. I don't follow the market. I mean, I know like Power 9. I know Dual Lands, the whole 9 yards. I played Magic the Gathering throughout middle school and high school. The basketball versus comic book market is two drastically different things. The basketball market to me is quick flips unless it's goats and legends. And the comic book market to me is a safer place to put your money for long-term stuff. So that's what I've been doing a lot lately. I've been moving a lot of my card profits and putting that money into graded comic books and kind of just letting it sit and forget. The comic book market, I think it's going to turn into more of a quick flip thing. It hasn't been that in the past, best I can tell. And like I said, I'm kind of new to the comic book market within the last year or so. But to me, comic books just feel way safer than most sports cards do. And, you know, I've made this point a bunch in a bunch of different places. If you start looking at census counts on comic books, they are insane compared to a lot of sports cards. I am in Top Shot strictly to buy packs, rip them, and immediately sell whatever it is that I get. I do not believe in Top Shot long term, but I also, to be fair, do not understand NFTs. I think any of the early 90 Marvel stuff is worth grading if you can get a 10 on it. 66 Marvel's weird because I think most people don't realize it exists. I mean, it'll go up, but I do not use ComC at all, low roller. I am a star stock guy. Dak was a good buy about a month ago, 2 weeks ago. I mean, I think you could still get it, and his stuff's still going to go up between now and then. But I was buying Dak about a month ago. I got his optics for like $220 to $250 a piece. They're at like $3 to $350 a piece now. I think they'll probably be $450 a piece by the time the season starts. My best guess. Oh, Max, my thoughts on KPJ. Why did you have to do it to me? We want to talk about KPJ? All right, now you got me on a sidetrack. Whoops. Hold on. You had to mention the man, the myth, the legend, KPJ. I talk about KPJ extensively in tomorrow morning's video. I am a huge believer in KPJ. That is all KPJ. I think that's all of it. Do I have more? I might have more laying around here somewhere. That's Prism, color, optic color, autos, patches, the whole 9 yards. KPJ is heavily featured tomorrow. I think his stuff's about to explode. I just spent $600 in KPJ on Star Stock, and I'm looking to move most of it quickly. Sorry, I'm trying to find out where I left off in chat. Torres is interesting. I've actually already flipped some of his stuff for a decent profit on Star Stock. PSA is never dropping prices again. Vintage is always worth grading if you can pull good grades. Any tips to getting started on eBay selling? Just start small and work your way up. Birds on the bat. I actually think and once again, I am looking at the comic book market from an outsider perspective. I have not been in it for, you know what I mean? Like, I've not been following it day to day. I feel the comic book market is at the tip of the iceberg in regards to just going to the next level. I think a lot of people in the sports card market, myself included, are starting to turn the evil eye of Sauron onto the comic book market. And the comic books do not have the CGC censuses in key issues to maintain current pricing if demand shifts at all. I will use the Amazing Spider-Man 252 that I just bought as an example. Chat, pause on the questions for a minute because this is probably going to be a long-winded answer. And I don't want to fall too far behind. So, Amazing Spider-Man 252 CGC 9.8 has 1,300-ish on the CGC census. That's direct and newsstand edition. That's it. 1,300 in the top grade. That's the first appearance of the symbiote, which is basically ends up becoming Venom. It's a classic cover. It's a classic book. There are 1,300 of them. Imagine the sports card world if I told you there was only 1,300 Zion Prisms PSA 10s, and that's it. A first appearance is a first appearance. There's no other options. It's not like sports where you have Prism and you have Optic and you have Select and you have this, that, and the other thing, and then you have different colored parallels. Like, how many Zion rookie cards are there? Like, total in PSA 10 across varying shapes, sizes, and sets. There's probably like 100,000. I don't even know. I'm just throwing numbers around. When you look at comic books, like look at New Mutants 98, CGC 9.8, the comic book world views that as a large census count. Like, it's like 3,800, I think, 3,500. I don't remember. And the CGC 9.8 is the top grade. That's viewed as like a ton. Like, if you go in the comic book world, they look at that and they're like, you're crazy for buying that. There's a ton of them. I view that, coming from the sports car world, as you're nuts. That book should be way more. There's only 3,800 of them. It's not like there's another option for the first appearance of Deadpool. I switched examples there, or 1,000 of ASM 252s. So if money shifts into that market at all, there is just not enough of that stuff to go around. And if sports cards people do cross over, which I believe that they are based off questions and comments that I get, what do they love? We love PSA 10. We want the highest grade with the best company. So if we move over to comic books, we're going to be looking at CGC 9.8s. Sports card people aren't going to want to buy raw to grade. They're not going to want to buy lower grades. They're going to go for the best. And I just don't think the inventory is there to handle that. And I think that's part of the reason why you're seeing basically new records set on 80 and 90 key books every single week, because most people in the sports card market are 35 to 45 with disposable income, and they're going into that market buying what they know. Sorry for the very long-winded answer, but I hope that helped. Oh God, where did I leave off at? I don't know exactly where I left off at, so if I missed your question, I am very sorry. And I do believe with what Steelers 581 saying, comic books are very much a long-term play. Good price for Marvel Series 1 commons. I would not buy commons raw. I think they are too beat up. You want to pack pull them yourself. ComC feels like it was built in 1995 and the website hasn't changed since. StarStock feels much more modern. And I like that StarStock does the pre-grades. I know ComC does that too, but ComC is so behind the times. I want to buy MPJ and SGA, but I want to buy them in the off season, not now. I don't know that. I mean, unless you need the money, I don't know that you should ever really sell Kobe rookies. I will tangentially keep an eye on the golden auctions. Will GMA ever be a big player in the grading industry? Short answer, no. Thoughts on StarStock? I adore StarStock. I use it every day. I think Klay Thompson Prism is drastically overpriced, but I'm also a Cavs fan. Sorry if I'm quiet. I'm just reading chat, trying to get caught up. When it comes to 90 Marvel MU, you just want to grade the key characters. Basically, have they been in a Marvel movie or is it Wolverine? Any word on PSA subgroup prices? Yeah, they're crappy. It looks like PSA cracked down on subgroups pretty hard, and they're not getting much discount, if at all. PC Sports Cards, the biggest subber, has not announced his pricing yet. He said it'll be a week or two. Most people forget Court Kings exists the second it comes out. I am not big on folds. Much better places I would rather put my money. I have a very limited window of players that I want to buy. I'm not going to be chasing a bunch of random people. Like, it just doesn't make sense. What comic books have you picked up, if you don't mind sharing? Have you only picked up graded? Yes, I have only bought graded. I have bought a New Mutants 98 CGC 9.8, a Secret Wars 8 CGC 9.8, and now an Amazing Spider-Man 252 CGC 9.8. In addition to that, I've bought a bunch of Spider-Gwen stuff just because I really like the character, and a lot of Jim Lee X-Men and classic X-Men covers. They would not be considered keys. They would not be considered investment books. They're more for PC stuff. Like, I have the Jim Lee X-Men 1-4 cover set. They're worthless. They were printed about in 1 million, but I wanted 4 copies in a CGC 9.8 because that's when I first started collecting comic books, and I love the covers. I have an X-Men 11, which I showed on the channel before because I love the cover. Classic X-Men 1 because I love the cover. Underrated one, which Team CGC just talked about this one, X-Men Adventures #1. It's the comic book that was associated with the Fox Saturday morning cartoon. I have that in a CGC 9.8. There's only like 30 of them on the census. I have never had cards shipped to me from Star Stock. Favorite long-term NFL non-QB play? None. Stick to quarterbacks. Which Deadpool card will be the one to have? The X-Force comic bagged one and 92 Jim Lee X-Men Series 1. Star Stock in general is a decent winner from the PSA changes. Beezer is super always undervalued. I have no interest in investing in Adrian Peterson. KPJ is Kevin Porter Jr. MPJ is Michael Porter Jr. Don't chase the 2020 Tom Brady first Bucks jersey stuff. If you want to see a parallel for that, go look at LeBron Lakers jersey stuff. Pull up the charts for that and look at how hard that card got hammered once the gust fell out of it. Shaq, anything Shaq is good if it's one of the flagship rookies. Larry Nance and Mark Price for PC and not for investing. Love them both. Yan, just hit me up in Instagram DMs. My Instagram's on the page. It's NEO_sportscards. If you want to chat. I don't do a lot of sponsored videos, but I'll listen. Do I think there'll be another bump in Kobe? I mean, bump and constantly going up are two different things. The legends / GOAT players, Kobe, LeBron, Jordan, etc., just ride the waves with those guys. They're going to go up, they're going to go down, they're going to fluctuate, but overall, they're the safest places to put your money. Football, you got to really be on it and time it correctly. Andrew, I typically stay away from inserts, especially in modern. I got New Mutants 98 CGC 9.8 for 1,200 off eBay. I got it for a steal at the time. And I bought that 2 weeks ago at 1,200. It's at 2,500 now. How much did I pay for ASM 252? 1,500. 1,525 shipped goods and services. I think that's if anyone is legitimately in the market for an ASM 252, do not wait. Go find one. Good luck finding one. It took me forever. I just can't see the Seahawks actually trading Wilson. Yeah, and it depends on what you bought him in for. It's very hard to answer just a straight buy or sell without knowing any of the details. And if you're selling, what are you using the money for? Any other platforms suggested for selling cards? Here's the thing, guys. We all hate eBay fees, but it's the easiest place to sell cards. You just got to swallow the fees and deal with it. It is what it is. It sucks, yes, but having tried to sell cards on Facebook, Discord, MySlabs, etc., Instagram, the whole 9 yards, unless you have a massive Instagram following or Twitter following, it's just easier to eat the fees. I don't want to. My time is worth more than trying to get an extra $15 out of a card by selling it off eBay, unless it's like a large card. I assume that the Mavs have to make a play for someone big in free agency. I sold my 22 KPJ PSA 10s yesterday. I probably would have sold half of them and then rolled the dice for when he actually plays. That's me personally, but I am not going to hate on you for doubling your money. I personally don't have interest in investing in Jeter or Ichiro, but I see no problem investing in those two. I like Darius Garland, but I would probably target him after the season starts. It doesn't make a lot of these guys on non-playoff teams. It just doesn't make sense to park your money in now. Like, I like Darius Garland, but between now and the end of the season, like, it's not like the Cavs are going to the playoffs most likely. So why should I have my money sitting on Darius Garland when I could just wait and buy him in the offseason dip? Because you're going to buy him to want to sell him before the season starts or in early season next year. So I would just personally wait to buy him. I would love a giant size X-Men #1. It's on my radar. I've just been trying to knock out some of these other, not the $1,500 low, but some of these other lower end keys before I get into a giant size X-Men 1. Because I know I'm going to have to buy a lower grade and I know it's going to be super expensive. What's the most overpriced NBA card right now? That's a tough one. I don't know off the top of my head. Are there any basketball cards that you own that you would consider non-sellable? No. Best card shops in Ohio or Western PA? The one that I frequent the most is Triple Play Vintage in Cuyahoga Falls. That's where I go for most of my supplies. To be quite honest, I don't buy wax to rip, so I don't really pay attention to that. And most singles I'm going to buy online. What quarterback would I buy for a flip in a few months? Baker, Dak, Kyler, Josh Allen, any of those guys, any of that young crop. KG Rookie's already got a pretty big spike. I'm not a believer in the Hall of Fame induction ceremony spikes and award ceremony spikes, Rookie of the Year spikes. I don't buy into a lot of that stuff. Is it worth grading 87 tops of baseball cards? Check comps on eBay sold listings and see if it's worth the time. I'm going to have to wrap up pretty quick here, guys, so I'm going to try to get caught up on chat as best that I can. That's awesome, Jeff. Those cards look amazing, and they are ridiculously hard to pull. I think modern basketball takes off at around the NBA trade deadline between then and the playoffs. I think we're about a week or two away. Starstock is very far behind on uploading cards. I own no wrestling stuff. Thank you, High Fades. I try. Not very hard, but I try. My thoughts on the YouTube channel. The reason I'm going to go on a slight side tangent here, which I probably don't have time for this because I'm already behind on questions and running short on time. The reason why I started the channel and started doing the videos like I do, the little bit longer form stuff, is because no one else was doing it that way. And if you guys notice, I don't pre-script anything. A lot of videos that I watch, they pre-script stuff, and I get why they do it, but that's not for me. And I think it comes across on the videos that they're a little clunky sometimes on some people's channels. So Most of my videos, I have very little editing on. It's usually me coughing, I gets edited out, and that's about it. I pretty much just turn the mic on and go, and whatever falls out of my mouth falls out of it. And I think a lot of people appeal to me because I'm a little bit different. I'm not hypey, if you will. Some of the people that I watch, I'm just like, what are we doing? And I try to only use data to back up stuff. Like if I make a video that says like these 5 players, which I don't like doing too often, but I do them sometimes. I try to make sure that I have data to back up everything that I'm saying versus just randomly spouting stuff off. Go Browns indeed. I just love KPJ when I just kind of, because I'm from Northeast Ohio, big Cavs fan. I was intrigued by him by his low prices when he first came out and the upside and where they drafted him. The thing is KPJ got, he was the head case, all that stuff happened, got traded to the Rockets. He got called up from the G League early. He is going to run the Rockets' second unit after the All-Star break, and I think his prices are about to pop off. The hobby loves KPJ. I'm intrigued by HGA, but I cannot say run out and submit to HGA when you really can't get cards into them. Lamar Jackson, maybe. Lamar Jackson's fine to buy now and flip before the season starts. I'm fine for that. Jerry Rice stuff's popping off right now, and I don't think you could ever go. My general answer to investing in any of the major Hall of Famers of any sport are it's probably going to be fine. I'm not sure what Stan Lee auto stuff's going for. That does seem cheap for Keldon Johnson A's. I have Keldon Johnson Select Silvers sitting at Star Stock for grading right now. I did say doo-doo. HGA, maybe. I talked about HGA quite a few times already during the video, so sorry for the short answer. Stephen Curry rookie cards are always going to be a good investment, whether it's quick flip or long term. And definitely go Browns. All right, couple more, and then I got to get out of here. I think Embiid has a better chance to make a longer playoff run just because the East is weaker. I don't know that you are, Corey. PSA is still going to be king. That's not changing. I just don't know hockey, Eric. That's the reason why I don't talk about it. One of my general rules is I'm not going to sit here and make videos or content and give advice on something that I am not familiar with. That is not doing you any justice. So I'm not going to just talk it to act like I know it. I'm not going to fake it till I make it. It scares the hell out of me, but people will spend their money based off crap that comes out of my mouth. So I'm definitely not going to talk about something I have no interest in. I love Jared Allen as a Cavs fan. Investing in big men is always tricky. Grading 96 Marvel masterpieces. Hey, man, if they'll 10 or even 9, absolutely. 96 masterpieces are. Whew. All right, guys, I got to run. I went a little longer than I wanted to go. Thank you for everyone for popping in. Once again, these are always going to be unplanned. I would love to set a time and a date, but my schedule is just too tricky, at least right now. So I will pop on when I can here and there and just randomly pop one up with like a 30-minute warning. Try to give you guys a 30-minute warning as much as I possibly can. And once again, a majority of my content is still going to be pre-recorded. But if I happen to have time to kill some nights, I will gladly pop on and do these because they are fun and it moves things along very quickly. Tomorrow morning, the weekend review, the normal Sunday morning video will be out. It is already recorded. It is uploading now. Monday morning, I will be doing probably a Marvel card video. And then either Tuesday or Wednesday, I want to do a comic book video. I just don't know which day yet. Depends on what happens. Because we're kind of in a weird spot with the NBA All-Star break and stuff. Not much happening. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out. Peace.